Welcome, Wednesday Maniacs. It is Wednesday, so that means it is time for TGIW. Thank God it is Wednesday. Here with special co-host. Wendigo's in the house. Decided to make an appearance on camera today, so there she is. Let everyone tell you how cute you are in the comments, please. She's a very fragile ego. If you don't tell her how cute she is, she's gonna have a hard time sleeping. So please do. All right, so. What did we pick up today? So I hit up two shops and didn't get a whole lot, but there's definitely sort of a theme between them, or at least part of a common thread. First at one shop, oh man, this thing is beefy. I got Volume 5 of the complete Elf Quest. Now I know what you're saying. Elf Quest isn't that the one with the weird sex elves? You're not entirely wrong. It's okay. ElfQuest has really, really good stories in it. I'd known about ElfQuest for a long time, ever since back in the 2000s when I was working at a comic shop, and I always knew it was a thing, but never really read it or looked into it. Curiosity got me, and I'm like, I know that it's not like pornographic or anything, so I bought the first one of these Dark Horse collected editions, and I read it, and it's like, I don't understand what the problem is. Like, it's just a story about elves and their search for their home, and yeah, there's some adult themes in it, but it's just a good story. And I got the second one, and it was the same. But as they went on, it's gotten racier and racier. Again, there's nothing pornographic in it. The men are definitely drawn like, the men elves are definitely drawn like beefy and without shirts and whatever. And the ladies are scant and voluptuous and all of that. I don't know why they felt the need to kind of do that, when like the story is really good. Like, it's not as bad as you think. It's not just about elves doing it. It's a really good set of fantasy stories about elves, and there just happens to be some more adult oriented content in there, but nothing pornographic. So if you actually haven't read it, if you have that same sort of stigma about it that I did for a long time, and then again, these Dark Horse complete collections, they're like $25, and you get so much. So I saw that, like, you know what, I'm gonna stop judging it and read it. And I did, and it's like, this is actually really good. So take that for what you will. If you're going to peg me as a weirdo from here on, by all means, peg me as a weirdo. But I really enjoy it. All right. So then I also got issues 2 through 10 of Just Society, the 1992 run of Justice Society, and I think there's only 10 issues. So I got almost all of that from this one shop. From the other shop, they had number 1, so I was able to get that. And then they also had issues 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of the 8 issue run of the Justice Society of America that was just before that, 1991. So that's all but... I'm just missing issue number 2 of this. So I have all of the 92 run and just missing one of the 1991 run, which I'm sure I'll be able to find. It's not that it's super rare. It's just those two shops didn't happen to have it. I'm pretty confident I can get it from an online seller without any problem. But that's it. And actually, as I've mentioned before, with my hours being cut a little bit, therefore my income being cut a little bit, I'm going to slow down a little bit. This is the last of the stuff that I asked local comic shops to dig up. I have some trades that are set aside for me to pick up still from one of the shops. But I haven't decided if I'm going to ask them to look for any more runs of stuff, because now it's getting to the point where, like, I one of the goals of this whole quarantine thing and staying at home more is I can start getting through some of my backlog. Well, I'm adding so much to my backlog every week. I'm hopefully, for the most part, reading more than I'm adding. Like here, 7, 9, it's like 16 issues that I added to that. I mean, plus that trade. I definitely read a lot more than that. Well, maybe not counting the trade, but I really need to start knocking stuff out. So I'm going to slow down on the stuff that I'm buying every week, just because I can't keep that up and expect to ever get done with my backstock or get somewhat decently caught up on it. All right. So for what I read last week, and I got everything read. It was 3 issues of Amazing Spider-Man. Let's see. It was it annual 3? Yeah. It was the news story in annual 3, where Spidey tries out for the Avengers. Doesn't work out too well. And then this 2-part Lizard story, actually the second and third appearance of the Lizard. So issue number 44 and 45. There we go. So I read those 3. They were great. The Lizard story was a lot of fun. The return of the Lizard. So yeah. So read through that. Read through the 2 issues of Captain Carrot, and they were fine. And then let's see what we're talking about next. Oh, this was really good. This 4-part Submariner mini was really good, and it's actually important to the Submariner story. What happens with some of these minis, and we'll see it in just a second here, is that there's no consequence to it. Like, it's nothing. It was a good story, but it doesn't change anything. This definitely changed things. It has Namor being dethroned. Oddly enough, it's I wouldn't say it's forcefully, but it's also not involuntary. But yeah, he's at the end of this. He's no longer the throned ruler of Atlantis. But it's a really good introspective story about society and sort of the and I think it's actually very pertinent to the world today. What determines if the economy is doing well, right? It's like the stock market. But just because the stock market's doing well, what that really means is those that invest in the stock market are doing well. But those that don't invest, those that just are have these sort of day-to-day jobs, they aren't necessarily doing okay, but they're part of the economy, right? If people are, a bunch of people are needing multiple jobs to live and on funding or food stamps and all that, that's not good. But our main indicator of the economy is doing well is the stock market, which completely ignores all that other stuff. This kind of comes up then, and it's like, yeah, everyone's doing great. Look how great Atlantis is. Like, well, Atlantis is kind of where all the rich people live. So yeah, it looks like things are going great. But then it kind of comes out that, like, no, you need to go visit these sort of side cities and whatnot, and things are not going well. So it was a really really good read. Let's see. Okay, so speaking of minis that don't mean anything, was this Planet of Symbiotes. So the main story, this is a special for all of the ongoing the Spider-Man related series that were out at the time. Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Venom, Spectacular Spider-Man, and Web of Spider-Man. All specials #1. And the first part of these books is this Planet of Symbiote story. And then after that is a short standalone story. And then these are also flip books. On the back side, it is one Scarlet Spider story as an additional backup. But the main event is this Planet of Symbiotes. And it was... I was really excited for it. I was hoping for it to be a lot better than it was. As I mentioned, there weren't really any consequences. Like the state of the world was the same at the beginning of the book as it was at the end of the book. A bunch of crazy stuff happened in between, but nothing that had lasting effects. Not that every story needs lasting effects. That would get exhausting. But the events that happen in this book seem like they should have long-lasting events. If you're not familiar, an army of symbiotes invades the entire Earth and bond to hundreds of thousands, millions maybe, I don't know, of people, but including like Captain America. And it's just like a bunch of heroes get symbiotes attached to them. They're not really part of this book. It kind of shows it like in the background that everyone's getting attacked by, or getting symbiotes attached by them and being controlled by them. It shows like Captain America being enveloped, but then it's nothing with him. It just kind of shows that happened. But you'd think that if an event happened where the entire planet was invaded and overrun by symbiotes, that there would be some lasting effect, or it would, I don't know, be mentioned every once in a while. Like, yeah, remember that time when, or every time, like, whether there'd be all this mistrust with Venom, and like one of your race or a bunch of your species or your race like totally invaded this planet. Like, is it okay that you're kind of a hero? And the story, like, it started off slow, and I don't know, but yeah, and then Carnage is in there for a minute, but yeah, it was all right. I had higher hopes, unfortunately. It didn't really live up to it. And then the last bit of what I read was the remainder of Aquaman. So Aquaman 61 through 75. And then also I realized I had the 1 million issue, so I read that as well. Also realizing what the 1 million series is supposed to be. I don't know if is it issue, it's supposed to be issue 1 million. Well, is it number 1 million, or is it supposed to be like at year 1 million in the future or whatever? But it's supposed to be issue 1 million. So it's like the intro in here is like 1 million months from now, assuming about a million a month, an issue per month, 1 million months. Anyway, but yeah, so all of this is done, is read. I am happy to report back that so I'd mentioned that the Eric Larson run, it wasn't real great, and it's certainly true, but at the point where Jurgens takes over, Dan Jurgens, it turns it around. It's like it's that really good 90s great stuff, that it might not be as good as the Peter David stuff, but it's definitely a reasonable follow up to the quality that Peter David had on his run of the first 50 or so issues, or whatever it ended up being. I was really, really disappointed with the point where Larson took over, and whoever the artist was Maybe there was a couple artists in there, but the art in general was not like, it was really busy, and I don't know if that was like the writer also like trying to make it busy like this or whatever. But the Jurgens, oh, it's really good. It cleans some stuff up that I think that David had hoped to get cleaned up, not by David himself, but he kind of left it as like, whoever takes over, like, probably should resolve this at some point. Which Larson didn't. He kind of ignored all that. But yeah, it's really good. It ends in a good place. Really, really happy with this run overall, just despite some of the hiccups along the way. All right, so for next week, I don't have a bunch of Aquaman to read, so that's different. I am going to read 3 more issues of Amazing Spider-Man. Some ones I'm looking forward to. I'll read Amazing Spider-Man number 46. This is the first appearance of the Shocker. And then there is a 2-part Kraven and Vulture story. So 47 and 48, I think. Yeah, I think this. Wait, is Kraven in this? Oh, you know what? No, I was gonna read 4 issues. So 48. Which is a Vulture story, and I believe this is introducing the second Vulture, Blackie Drago. Not sure how his name's pronounced. And then 49, which is the second Vulture and Kraven. And I'm not sure if that's all one story, because it starts with Kraven, ends with Kraven, or if they're like 2 separate stories. I'm not sure. I'll find out when I read it. But so 46, 47, 48, 49 seems like a good stopping point, because after that you get into the introduction to Kingpin, and that's going to be another 2 or 3 issue arc. So I want to have that separate. And if I get done early or I get ahead, I might start in on this. It depends. We'll just kind of see how it goes. So those 4 issues. My required dose of 2 issues of Captain Carrot. I'm going to read I don't know what year this is. Looks like late 90s. No, 96, 97. This is a 7-issue run of Spider-Man Team Up. And these are kind of like those special books. They're I probably can't really tell. They're a little bit thicker than your normal funny book. So this will actually probably be a good chunk. And then I'm also going to I got this last week or the week before, the 5th volume of the Usagi Yojimbo saga. So that's a good chunk. But these Usagi Yojimbos, they read pretty quick. But that's a lot of stuff, you know. I mean, that's not all of the Spider-Man Epic Collection, but 3 issues from that, then all of this and all these books. Seems like a reasonable amount. I know that at the beginning of next week I'm going to have a little extra time off. So, but I also picked up a little bit of work. So that seemed for my for Titan comic pressing, picked up a little work. So that will probably balance each other out a little bit, but I might be able to get a little ahead and read some additional stuff before next Wednesday. So yeah, so that is all. Just need one more issue for this Justice Society stuff. I can read through that, and then yeah, we got some good. We still got plenty of really great stuff to read, until and well after new comics come back. So that's it. Please like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Be sure to tell little Lady Wendigo how cute she is. How cute. Look at how cute. So cute. And be safe and keep reading, and let me know what you think, what you're reading and all that, and I will see you soon. Bye. This video was brought to you by Titan Comic Pressing. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Titan Comic Pressing LLC.